In this video, I want to tell you about 10 types of prisoners you are guaranteed to meet while locked up that are the worst type of prisoners you can possibly meet. Now, there are way more than just these 10 that I will tell you about in this video. Just like how I said in the worst type of prison guards video, I could literally do a series about these worst type of prisoners as well. Now, before I jump into this list, I do want to say that sex offenders, pedophiles, child predators, those type of people are not going to be in this video simply because of the fact that it goes without saying they are definitely the worst type of prisoners there are, and those guys absolutely, without question, have the worst fucking time while locked up, getting their ass kicked, possibly even getting raped, extorted, or killed while in prison. In fact, in this video, I want to tell you about 10 worst types of prisoners, some of which you probably had no idea about. So with all of that being mentioned, and without further ado, let us go ahead and dive right into this video. The first type of prisoner who makes this worst type of prisoners list is referred to as the Kingpin prisoner. Now, the crazy thing about these types of prisoners is the fact that, well, while out in the free world, they most certainly were not kingpins. These kingpin prisoners will spin up fantasies about all of the different types of cars, clothes, money, and women that they had out in the free world. And while concocting these crazy stories about all of these things that they had out in the free world, they will actually begin to believe these things as true. Sometimes when a prisoner lies so much, their lies become their own reality. But the fact of the matter is, their reality most certainly is not reality. Kingpin prisoners are oftentimes locked up for drug charges, but not drug sale charges, more so possession charges, because of the fact that while in the free world, they were drug addicts. In other cases, kingpin prisoners won't even have drug charges at all. They could be locked up for a wide variety of things, including stealing things from Walmart. Only furthering the case that these individuals were not in fact drug kingpins, but more so drug addicts. These type of prisoners will oftentimes have not one single red cent penny to their name. No commissary in their lockers, oftentimes not even being able to make commissary. And when asked about this, hey, you were a kingpin in the free world. How come you don't have any money in prison? Their common response to this question will be, well, that's because the police took all of my money. They seized all of my properties and my Maseratis and Lamborghinis. Those pesky rascal police officers, they took everything from me. But I have to assure you, I was a kingpin in the free world. The second worst type of prisoner who makes this list is referred to in prison as the floor buffer. Have you ever been to a store such as Walmart or maybe a grocery store right after the floors have been buffed in that store? Walked in and couldn't help but to notice just how shiny those floors were? Well, in prison there is a certain creed of prisoner whose job specifically revolves around buffing floors. But these floor buffer type prisoners take their job to the absolute extreme. Literally buffing prison floors 24/7. Possibly even buffing the same floor multiple times a week or even a day. Why these floor buffer prisoners make this list of worst prisoners is because of the fact that these certain type of prisoners, they act like they own those prison floors. And not only do they act like they own those prison floors, these floor buffer prisoners are even willing to possibly fight you behind walking on those floors that they just buffed.
Hey, yo, man, why you walking on that floor I just buffed?
Cause motherfucker, it's a floor. It's supposed to be walked on. In fact, your job is to buff these floors that we walk on, not to act like these floors belong to you. Floor buffer type prisoners also have very close relationships with prison guards and officials. And in a lot of cases, they have close relationships with guards that every other prisoner considers the worst of the worst.
Well, that guard right there, he ain't so bad.
Yeah, no shit. because you're telling him everything. These type of prisoners are also informants, feeding information to prison officials in exchange for little rewards. Damn, man, how the hell did you get that sandwich from that vending machine?
Well, that prison guard, he gave it to me.
Well, I wonder what you gave him in exchange for that. Worst prisoner number 3 is referred to as the pilot. The pilot prisoner is sort of similar to the Kingpin prisoner simply because of the fact that these pilot prisoners, they lie about a lot of shit as well. Pilot prisoners are prisoners who claim to know how to do pretty much anything. Sometimes even including being a pilot.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing major really,
But I do have my helicopter's pilot's license. Damn, that's pretty interesting. Especially considering the fact that you don't even have a GED. These pilot type prisoners will oftentimes tell you they have specialized degrees in all sorts of things, including doctorates. No bullshit, I have literally met prisoners who have specifically told me they have helicopter pilot's license, they have a doctorate's degree. And though it's not hard to imagine that there are certain people who are locked up who could actually have these things, these pilot type prisoners are certainly not those type of people at all. In fact, these pilot prisoners will actually strike you as some of the dumbest fucking prisoners you have ever met in your life. How in the hell are you going to sit here and tell me that you are a doctor in the free world, yet you can't even read? Worst type of prisoner number 4 to make this list are referred to as trustees. Now what trustees is actually a certain type of classification for prisoners. You can actually become a trustee while locked up. You have to be of the lowest security level, you have to have like non-violent charges, and if you fit this criteria, you can actually apply to be a jailhouse or prison trustee. And what exactly a trustee type prisoner is just a prisoner who works inside of that jail or prison. Whether working in the kitchen, whether working in laundry, whether being a floor buffer, there is actually all sorts of different jobs that trustee prisoners can actually do. But make no mistake of it, these trustee type prisoners are oftentimes hated by the majority of the rest of the prison population. Whether it is out of spite or envy, or whether it is because a lot of prisoners view these trustees as snitches and actually working with the guards, possibly giving the guards information about things going on in the jail or prison. And in some cases, yes, this is absolutely true, there are trustees, especially those floor buffer types, who will in fact do just that. Number 5 to make this list of worst prisoners is referred to as the Vikings. This guy really seems to just be allergic to hygiene, taking showers, any sort of personal cleanliness whatsoever. And it's because of this that they are given the name Vikings. I guess because back in the day, Vikings, well, they were probably pretty fucking dirty too. I don't know. All I know is that's what these type of prisoners are called, and they are also definitely some of the worst type of prisoners you can be locked up with. 1, they stink. 2, nobody wants to be locked up around somebody who doesn't want to take care of themselves. They don't take showers. They smell like dirty ass all day long, 24/7. You have to be locked up, confined around so many people already. Then throw a Viking type prisoner into the mix, somebody who stinks, somebody who is just, oh my God, just so nasty. This type of prisoner can really just diminish any type of comfort level you may have been trying to attain while being locked up. These Viking type prisoners also have a very high likelihood to get sick or to get staph infections, things that can be easily passed to other prisoners. Worst of all is to have a Viking type prisoner as a cellmate. In fact, if you ever do have a Viking as a cellmate, it's probably a good idea to try to get rid of that guy any way that you can. You can simply tell the Viking, hey man, you need to get the fuck out of this cell. But if that doesn't work, you may have to take matters into your own hands and literally take flight on a Viking. Bang, 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 bang. Get the fuck out of here, Viking. It's time to go. Number 6 on this list is the emerging rapper prisoner. Nothing is really worse than having to be locked up around a guy who swears he is about to be that next big rap talent. And while this may sound like this could actually be a positive thing, hey look, here's this prisoner who is actually trying to do something useful with his time, possibly writing music and having goals set for himself that when released, he could do something good. He could maybe even become a real rapper. And as fine and dandy as all of that sounds, I have to assure you that these guys really are fucking annoying to be locked up around. These emerging rapper prisoners are oftentimes young, obnoxious, loud, annoying. The list really just goes on and on in terms of negative shit that comes with these emerging rapper type prisoners. And there really is nothing like being locked up in the same cell with a guy or having to sleep in the bunk right next to a guy who wants to beatbox and rap 24/7. Hey yo, I'm locked the fuck up and I hate this shit. I'm trying to make something happen but I can't even spit. What the fuck I'm doing sitting in a prison cell? This shit fucking sucks all day, it's hell. Making the list at number 7 is the phone rider prisoner. Now this name pretty much sums up exactly what this prisoner is like. This is a guy that literally lives, breathes, and will die for that prison phone. In fact, there are only certain hours during the day when the phones are actually on. The phones are not on 24/7, and these phone rider prisoners, hell, they know the phone schedule better than most of the COs. When exactly those phones are supposed to be on, they will be right there at those phones, sometimes with little sticky notes posted on those phones. I've got the phone as soon as the phone comes on. And most of the times the phones are cut off and then cut back on, revolving around the lockdown for count schedule of a prison. And no sooner are those prison counts cleared when those announcements come over the intercom, count cleared at 1200 hours. These prisoners will grab their little plastic chairs and run just as fast as they can to those phones, ensuring the fact that they get that phone. If anything happens to disrupt that schedule, such as lockdown for a fight or a shakedown, or somebody doing something in the housing unit to cause the housing unit to be locked down, and these phones end up getting cut off abruptly or out of the norm of when they are supposed to be cut off, these prisoners absolutely lose their fucking shit. Oh my God, man, I can't believe they cut the phones off. Complete mental fucking breakdowns. Number 8 making this list is a type of prisoner who is referred to as the magicians. There is actually a high percentage of prisoners while locked up who fit this category and this term, the magicians, simply because of the fact that a magician type prisoner is the type of prisoner who can make anything just disappear. Where the fuck did my soap go? I literally just had my soap in my soap dish and now all of a sudden my soap is gone. Wait a minute. Didn't one of those magician type prisoners just come into this bathroom? Magician prisoners perform magic acts pretty much 24/7, making anything that may belong to you and is not safely tucked away or locked up disappear. I have actually seen these magician type prisoners make an entire 13-inch TV belonging to another prisoner disappear. Where the hell did my TV go? I don't know. Number 9 is the compulsive sex addict prisoner. I have probably talked about these type of prisoners quite a bit here on After Prison Show, but these are such a very common type of prisoner to actually be locked up around. These are the guys who will jerk off 24/7, all hours of the day and night. It does not matter, and they will also do so anywhere across a prison compound. Hell, they will masturbate in a library, in a gym, in a chow hall, especially in a shower, maybe even in a fucking prison mop closet. These guys don't even need porn or any type of a Macy's sales ad. Look at that bra section right there. These guys are literally like a walking sex charge. In fact, in some cases, they even do become sex offenders while locked up. Because if you are actually caught masturbating 3 times while locked up, you then become deemed a sex offender who has to register upon release. Number 10 and the last prisoner to make this list of the worst type of prisoners to be locked up around is actually the constant complainer. Nobody wants to be locked up around a guy who constantly does nothing but complain. And complains about everything. Man, this food here, it really sucks. I wish they would feed us better. I wish they would feed us more. I wish we could get some steak in here. I wish I wasn't locked up. Why the hell do we gotta sleep on these fucked up mattresses with these messed up pillows? Why is it so cold in here? Why is it so hot in here? Why is it so dirty in here? Motherfucker, you are locked up. This isn't exactly the Ritz or the Hilton that we're in here. We are in prison. Things are gonna suck in here. And in 100% of the cases, they're gonna suck a lot. So why not just accept that? Instead of constantly fucking complaining about everything. Nobody wants to be around this type of a prisoner. This type of a prisoner actually makes your time an absolute living hell. Having to not only listen to these things that this prisoner is actually complaining and bitching about, but then actually after hearing and listening to these things, then you will actually begin to think about these things as well. And there's nothing worse than being forced to think about shit while you're locked up that you really don't want to think about, and that in 100% of the cases you can't do a damn thing about. I personally really hate constant complainer type prisoners. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. And until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!